Hey kids, what time?
It's time for Gezintahait Street.
It's time for Gezintahait Street. And the story for tonight is entitled, Does Anybody Know What Time It Is?
Does anybody really care?
The previous Rebbe tells us in his journal that he had no watch when he was in prison. The only way he could know the approximate time was from the guard's announcement. Bread was given at 7:30 a.m. Hot water at about 8:30. Midday bread was also provided at a certain time, as was the afternoon hot drink. And similarly, the order from the guards to sleep was at a designated time. And in his journal, immediately after noting he had no watch when he was in prison, the previous Rebbe related a midrash right after he said he had no watch about Moshe Rabbeinu. When Moshe was in Har Sinai for 40 days and nights, Moshe could tell it was daytime when he heard the angels sing, "Holy, holy, holy." He knew it was night when he heard this other angel say, "Blessed be the glory from his place." And that journal was published so the future generations would learn lessons in serving Hashem. At first glance, our Rebbe says, the midrash about Moshe appears unconnected to the previous Rebbe's incarceration. In fact, they're total opposites. The previous Rebbe was sitting in jail for spreading and strengthening Judaism. He was in a terrible place and so constricted, he could not even tell the correct time. The jailers did this on purpose to let him know he had no individual freedom at all. He wasn't even allowed to know if it was day or night. Moshe on Har Sinai, on the other hand, was higher than any limits. In fact, his entire existence was in learning Torah directly from Hashem, to the point that he ate no bread and drank no water for 40 consecutive days. He was in a miraculous state of existence. Our Rebbe explains why the previous Rebbe cited that midrash about Moshe Rabbeinu right after citing that he had no watch in prison. He was addressing those times when the Jew sees bad in the world. Like the Rebbe who was jailed for educating Jewish children about their heritage. The previous Rebbe certainly had faith in Hashem's unity, and he knew there was and is more besides, there is nothing besides Hashem, and no place empty of him. Not in the heavens above, nor in the four directions of the world, and every place in between. Hashem is every place. As our sages taught, Hashem appeared to Moshe in a small bush to teach him that nothing, not even an insignificant bush, is devoid of Hashem. Accordingly, the previous Rebbe recorded in his journal that he was asked a certain question during interrogation. He said, "There is no one besides him," meaning Hashem. One could ask, since Hashem is essentially good, how can any bad come from him? After all, it's the nature of a good will to do good. The existence of evil, therefore, appears to contradict the unity of Hashem. Oh, to answer this question, the Rebbe cited the midrash about Moshe on Har Sinai, who was able to distinguish time from the songs of the angels. Why did Moshe need to know the difference between day and night? He was higher than time altogether. He was just learning Torah with Hashem. But our purpose is to draw down what's higher than time, which is the Torah that we're going to receive in a few days, into time. That is to bring the Torah as a reality in this world. To empower us to accomplish this, Moshe needed to be connected to time, even when he was on a level higher than time, with Hashem on Har Sinai. So too, when a Jew is confined in a narrow place, such as a locked cell, he does not view his situation as a contradiction to Hashem's unity. Rather, he connects his situation to higher than time, the level of Moshe. And this will help bring about his salvation and release, as was seen with the previous Rebbe. In the Torah, Hashem told Moshe to hang the figure of a snake on a high pole, so that all those who were bitten by a snake could gaze at it and live. A Jew has to view a snake, a serpent, not as it is down here, but like it is on high. Between this advice and the spark of Moshe and his soul, he will have the strength to transform the snake from a messenger of death to something that enlivens. So too in our case. We are confined in a non-Jewish land under the rule of a non-Jew, a true constriction. But we should see the situation the way it is on high, higher than the world. As the previous Rebbe taught, we have to think Hashem brought me to these depths to see how I will conduct myself in the narrow place. In addition, the Rebbe connected his incarceration with Moshe on the mountain, higher than time, like the figure of a serpent on a high pole. Through that connection, the previous Rebbe was able to leave that confinement and become revealed as the prince that he was, like his namesake Joseph, who left jail and became the virtual ruler of the most powerful country in the world.
That's right, Bezalel.
This is the lesson for all of us. Sometimes a Jew is not his own boss.
I remember that.
He cannot learn Torah as much as he wants to, and he can't give as much charity as he wants to. Things are out of his control. And he complains to Hashem, I want to help others, but it's impossible. You gave me a commandment, and I want to do it, but I can't accomplish it. I want to spread Torah in a certain place, but there are those who put obstacles in the way. We tell them, don't be downcast, don't give up, and don't lose your faith in the unity of Hashem. Know that it's a test. Stand up and recognize that a locked self is the lowest place possible. And that locked self partners with the highest level, Moshe on the mountain. Finally, when you withstand the test, you'll be granted light, dynamic life in your service to Hashem. Thank you for your patience. Would you like to do a niggun?
Yes. What's place? I would like to say hello to our dear friends. Aldo Caesar, Angelica, Abba Steinhauser, Chaya Hirsch, Danny Krasowski, Dov Benish, Erika O, Igor Berger, Ira Katz, Jeff Pleisner, Josh Wander, so be safe and keep everybody else safe. Catherine Claire Garbo, Kenneth Hidro, Levi Barnett, Levi Nedich, Marla Emdur, Marvin Birner, Hakoyen, Rabbi Mendel Morozov, Mian, Fahad Sabir Araim, Moshe Habagil, Omek Kadison, deep, very deep. Ori Heinen, Rabbi Zagbi, Rabbi Menkes Jr., Rabbi Menkes Sr., Ronnie von Mendez, Umata Nebaho, Sholem Olensky, Yehuda Leib Welton. We have more names coming up.
Mordechai HaYehudi.
Mordechai Yehudi.
Even if he doesn't come to the show, we give him a shout out.
And I see Abba's on now. You see, this is what I like is Abba always comes on. He comes on live, so it makes it very nice. So, anyways, Bezalel, before we do the naked, there's one thing I would like to do. I would like to say the Sfira Sa'im.
Everybody ready for the mitzvah for tonight?
Yes.
The Gimel Aleph is going to say the bracha. Everybody will say Amen, and then you repeat after him to count the day of the Omer. Is that
Yes,
does that work for you?
So let me open this here.
That was
My phone forgot who I am. Okay. Okay, as long as my as long as my wife didn't
Give me, you got a phone?
Yeah, I have a phone.
No.
I have a phone. I take it out of my pocket.
What did you use?
And then I put it on the table and I go like
What did you
I
use
put my
before phones happened?
you know there's a cycle on it and you make the numbers on the cycle, right? Then it goes zoop, like as I
Oh, that's a rotary phone.
yeah.
Yes. I wonder what you used before then. Sundials.
By the way,
Okay.
by the way, I know a guy. He's an expert in old time phonographs.
Yeah.
And he said they had the technology at the time when we got the Torah. The 10 Commandments could have been recorded because it's only wax with a pin. And
Somewhere with this
the
wax.
sound could have been scratched into the wax. That's what he said. They didn't do it, but he said it could have been possible.
Okay, ready everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. What's going on? Yeah.
Okay, this is called
Last
the
night was
counting
last
of
night was
the
Homer
Omer.
and Hank,
Okay.
44.
I'm gonna say the bracha, and now if you have been saying the whole time, you can say with me. If not, just answer Amen after my bracha. Then, regardless, you say the sphere with me. We'll say word for word. Here we go. It's the bracha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvayso v'tzivanu al sefiras ha'omer.
Amen.
Hayom
Hayom, Chamisha,
ve'arba'im
Varboim,
yom
Yom.
shehem Shisha,
Isha,
Shavuos,
Shavuos,
Oh,
Ushalaisha,
Ushalaisha,
Yomim,
Yomim,
La'omer.
Laimer.
Today is 45 days, which they are 6 weeks and 3 days of the Omer. Give me just 1 second here. Hello. Mama said,
Now he's getting it real soft.
it's Pfeffer and Malchus, in case anybody's interested.
The beauty of kingship.
Yeah.
Sogar manchmal kann Programm die Sphäre tief erisch für Malchus. Der ist gerade nicht normal, weil diese hier bei Shevarab warum ist. Weil es sagen haben sie noch gesehen, wenn ich mir sehen, because sig ob gam und tarenu und kad shenu bikdush shas amen.
Amen.
That's a tough word though.
Yeah. Okay.
Boy, in a few days, we're going to receive the Torah on Har Sinai once again, like we do every year. And every year it's a higher level of receiving. It's known and logical that the 10 Commandments contain the whole Torah, because the whole Torah comes out from them. And more than that, the first word of the 10 Commandments, Gimel Elef, what's the first word of the 10 Commandments? Anochi. It means I in the old time Egyptian language. Hashem is saying this level of I that cannot be described or imagined. It's only Hashem himself. And that word Anochi contains the whole Torah. Even though Anochi indicates Hashem's essence, which cannot be described or even hinted at or even imagined. So how does that word contain the whole Torah? The word Anochi, however, does contain the whole Torah. As we see, it is an abbreviation for the phrase,
I write myself into the
I
Torah.
write my
Oh, very good,
soul.
lady.
I write my soul.
Stick around long enough, you remember stuff. True.
Very good. That's Anochi is in a Hebrew abbreviation. I write myself, I write my soul into the Torah, Hashem says. And that's the word Anochi. So we see this essence level of Hashem, although completely hidden and unrevealable, is dressed in the Torah that we receive on Shavuos. And Hashem's essence, Hashem himself, which is removed from both revelation and non-revelation, was given to us in the Torah on Shavuos. That's a pretty nifty thing,
That's
higher than revelation
Nifty in
and
itself.
non-revelation.
That's nifty.
And that Torah that was given is an eternal inheritance for us and all the generations of the Jewish people. And it was given with a voice which is not heard. What's a voice that's not heard? It is not heard and it never stops. Like when a person cries out from the heart with no voice, just the heart cries, but no voice comes out. Just a cry from the heart.
Like by Chana when she was
Yes.
crying for Shmuel.
Yes. I was just about ready to say.
And no voice came out.
No, but that's how we learn how to daven.
A person poor in das, like a guy like me, could describe it like the love that a parent has for a child, which can't be expressed in words, but it never stops. So that's the voice that's not heard. And that's what we received when we got the Torah. A voice that stops, on the other hand, is a voice which expresses either thoughts or intellect or emotions. And when the expression stops, the voice stops. Not like the voice when we got the Torah that never stops. It's not heard and it never stops. Question: how did the giving of the Torah affect Moshe Rabbeinu?
He already got it.
No, he got the Torah and we did. But how did it affect him? He was already in contact with Hashem.
That's what I'm saying.
The previous Rebbe says before the giving of the Torah, Moshe related to the Jews who were not on his level of wisdom as basically non-entity, because he was so high intellectually. But with the giving of the Torah, he was able to recognize the preciousness and essence value of every Jew, from the most simple to the most sophisticated, from the heads of the tribes to the schleppers of the water. Hashem has delight in the Torah, and we have delight in the Torah. Imagine Hashem can't be imagined or described, and he delights in the Torah, and we also have delight in the Torah. There's an equality there. And that level of delight in the Torah is much higher than how the Torah gives life to the worlds. Like it says in the Torah, let there be light. So that gives life to this dynamic we have called light. But this level of the Torah that Hashem delights in and we delight in is much higher than the level where the Torah gives life to the world. Our Rebbe brings a metaphor which brings the level of godly essence of Hashem that we received at that time closer to the understanding. He brings two dynamics. One is skipping and one is jumping. Skipping, one foot stays on the ground, another one jumps. It's the person himself who's moving, but there's a connection from one step to the next. Jumping, however, there are no feet on the ground, and both feet land on the ground. The whole essence comes down at the same time. That's what Hashem did when we got the Torah. The level that can't be connected became connected. And in that jumping, the Torah was received with much greater expression of the essence. Just like when a person jumps, his full weight comes down. Skipping on one foot on the ground is not as intense as jumping. So he says that skipping will be like when we got out of Egypt. There were steps involved, even though it was higher than nature, but there were steps involved. However, when we got the Torah, it was completely higher than steps. It was 2 feet coming down, a complete jump of Hashem from his level to connect to us down on our level. Now, we're going to tell a story that's connected with the giving of the Torah, called the test of Reb David. You guys want to do it niggun first? Or
Yeah.
You want to do a jumping niggun as a relation to jumping?
Yeah, no, lovely. לכתחילה הריבה.
Thank you.
Rebbe Tzvi, I just wanted to say quick hello, a few more friends. Angel Vasquez, Antonio Hernandez, Ari Pressman, Carolyn Cruz, Dara Rosbo, Donna Waters, Eli Kochman, Eric Ben Yosef, Gedalia Aronson, Rabbi Hannah Rosenfeld, Yirmi Buma, and Julian Buma, and Joe Jacobs, and Lori Herzberg, Luigi, Mordechai Peled, and James and Beth Blair, and Shlomo Razinski, Pandy, Tadeo Jimenez, Yeshua Harris, Scott Eller, Telma Eduardo Salasoya, Judith Benadi, Muriel Gad, Mordechai Massart, the great Mordechai Massart. I actually just saw him.
Blessings to all of you.
Yesterday, a very good friend.
And God bless all you people and everybody who can't get a date on a Thursday night.
Rachel Sturm,
Bless you.
Rabbi
Leslie
Morgan,
time with
and
us.
Bitzalel Moshe Hyman. Hello, all of our friends.
Oh.
And now,
Moshe
this
Hyman?
moment.
Moshe Hyman.
No. This is it's Bitzalel Moshe Hyman.
Bitzalel Moshe Hyman.
It's not Bitzalel and it's not Moshe Hyman. Anyways.
It's all.
Now the moment, my dear brothers and sisters, I've been waiting for. Bitzalel, the Chassidus.
See this?
This is a nice story called The Test of Reb David. Once, at a festive meal, the Baal Shem Tov sat with his students, but he was not engaged with them. They tried different things to lighten his mood, but nothing helped. Finally, a simple villager named Reb David entered, and the Baal Shem Tov's frame of mind changed to one of joy. As he drew Reb David close, the Baal Shem Tov students could not understand how the simple villager accomplished such a change in their Rebbe, while all their clever efforts failed. The Baal Shem Tov then sent Reb David on an errand, and once he left, he shared the reason why Reb David's appearance meant so much, and why he lavished so much attention on the simple villager. For an entire year, Reb David saved pennies from the money he earned by the sweat of his brow, and he used that money to purchase a beautiful esrog. When the time came, he traveled to the city and he bought the most beautiful esrog he could find. On the trip back, Reb David faced storms, rising rivers, and bad roads. He finally arrived safely home with his esrog. He was very happy at his accomplishment and his good fortune. His wife, however, was distressed and angry with her husband for completely disregarding the poverty of the family and instead joyfully spending hundreds on an esrog. And in her bitterness, Reb David's wife broached the pitham on the esrog, making it unusable. He couldn't do the mitzvah with it after all of that. Reb David's reaction, however, was not one of anger, but equanimity. He merely said, "You are correct. Obviously, I didn't deserve such a fancy esrog." Since it was almost Sukkot, Reb David's only choice was to partner in the community esrog. So he took an object from his house of nominal value and sold it to a non-Jew. And with that money, he bought a share in the plain esrog purchased by the community. The Baal Shem Tov concluded his narrative by saying that since the tying up of Yitzhak by Abraham, no one besides Reb David had passed such a test. Our Rebbe says that the previous Rebbe shared this story on Shavuos, which is the yortzeit of the Baal Shem Tov. But the story is a Sukkot story. It's about an esrog. But the story itself does have a connection to the giving of the Torah. When the Jews proclaimed, "We will do and we will understand," they said, "We'll do first, and afterwards we'll understand." Regarding the receiving the Torah, King Solomon said, "The sincerity of an upright person precedes him," which indicates the children of Israel accepted the Torah with the sincerity of a simple person. First they said, "We'll do," later we'll understand. Therefore, the previous Rebbe told a story about a simple person on Shavuot. But there are many stories about the Baal Shem Tov and simple people. Why did the previous Rebbe choose this story, which is a Sukkot story, and not a Shavuot story? Furthermore, the binding of Yitzhak occurred on Rosh Hashanah, which is the day in which Sukkot is hidden. A possible reason, the Rebbe says, is that Shavuot commemorates three things: the gift of the Torah, the yortzeit of the Baal Shem Tov, and the yortzeit of King David. Everybody knew that? The day of passing of the Baal Shem Tov was Shavuot. The day of passing of King David was Shavuot.
I was there, you know.
Matan Torah, when the Jews said, "We will do and understand," is connected to the self-nullification and sincerity of a simple person. The story is a Baal Shem Tov story, and it's his day of his passing. And King David's passing was also in Shavuos, and his outstanding quality was his self-nullification. So too, Reb David embodied this quality. Additionally, David and King David shared the same name. Yet how is an esrog connected to Shavuos? Our sages say in the Gemara, the Jews are compared to an apple. Just like an apple grows before the leaves, so too we say we will do before we say we'll understand. Tosfos, however, says, wait a minute. The leaves and apple trees grow before the fruit, not after, just like all other trees. So for this reason, Tosfos teaches that the apple they're talking about is really an esrog, because it stays on the tree from year to year. So the next year, the leaves come before the fruit. I mean, the fruit is there before the leaves. Reb David's story also teaches us about the superior quality of a simple person. And I just want to say don't think you're a simple person and don't think you're a sophisticated person. I believe everybody has both. And it's important to nurture both.
Bitzalel, my wife told me, don't think you're a person.
At all. At least you didn't break your pitcher.
No, this you didn't do.
The
It
lesson,
cost money. This she appreciates.
the lesson is not that he had no other special qualities. He was just a simple guy. Therefore, he must praise his simplicity and earnestness. Just the opposite. This story demonstrates his inherent graceness. He had faced the hard test, yet was content and happy to perform the mitzvah with the community's plain esrog. The Rebbe, the best, received more simcha and nachas from this fact and this act than he would have received had Reb David used his fancy esrog for the bracha that he had acquired through self-sacrifice. We find an interesting parallel between the three connections of our story. The Reb David and the Yortzeit of the Baal Shem Tov and King David. The Rebbe made to Shavuos and the three levels that were given when the Torah was given. As told by the Rebbe Maharaj to his son, the Rashab, on Erev Shavuos. The Rashab was the previous Rebbe's father. When he was, I guess, 17 or 18 years old, went in to his father, the Rebbe Maharaj, on Erev Shavuos, the day before Shavuos. And he was told by the Rebbe Maharaj, on Shavuos, there's the gift of the Torah that Hashem gives us, and that's the revealed Torah which everybody gets. It's also the Yortzeit of the Baal Shem Tov, which is the hidden Torah, which many people get. And it's the Yortzeit of King David, the ability to serve Hashem with self-nullification through changing one's nature, which is only given to those who have an intense, essential desire to be able to do that. You want to do a niggun?
Yeah, you know, Bitzalel, it's very, can I tell you something? But first of all, I have an appeal.
Oh,
You know, everybody, all of you, we're so happy that you come and join us for this, for this every week.
interlude.
For this variety show. In this variety show, we have a variety of Chassidus, more Chassidus. And you know, it's not just, it's also for fun, because like Bitzalel says, ain't nothing but a party. But you know, there's also something serious going on here. That we come here every week and prepare for you Chassidus Nigunim. Why? Because we want Mashiach now. And the way we bring Mashiach now is by spreading you know, like the Baal Shem Tov, he asked of Mashiach, he went to the highest chambers, he asked of Mashiach, when will the Master come? He said, when your well springs, when Chassidus, when the knowledge of God will spread to the entire world. And this was, so what I want to suggest is everybody who watches this, you can be an active part of our show. And it's very simple. All you need to do is there's a share button on your thing. And you're not only doing a nice thing for us, you're doing a nice thing for your friends, all the people who see your profile, because then they too can discover this weekly show when we talk about Chassidus and we spread the knowledge of God. So please take a moment and hit the share button, put it on your profile so your friends can see it. Now, Bitzalel, what I want to say is that, you know, there's a thing called Hashkafa Pratis, divine providence. And I was deciding on which niggin to sing. And the niggin I decided to sing is the niggin of Chanya Morozov. And now we're getting ready to sing this niggin, and I see Mendel Morozov says on if you look in the comments, said hi. So it's which Mendel Morozov, if you don't know, is the grandson of Chanya Morozov. And by the way, Choni Melazov was a big chassid. He
Who
was
wrote the song that we're gonna hear?
yeah, and Choni Melazov, he was by they arrested him. I think it was in 1927, 1928, maybe it was later, maybe it was in the 30s. But they found out only much later that a couple of days later he was shot. This was for doing the work of the Friedrich Rebbe, for spreading Judaism and for teaching the children. He refused to stop, and even though he knew his life was in danger. And anyways, so now this nigga what he was, ready? Up to the last I can.
I think the Tzemach Tzedek always on Shavuos told the story of the Baal Shem Tov and told the Torah teaching of the Baal Shem Tov. And the Rebbe says that each one of us should carry on that tradition. So we have a story of the Baal Shem Tov, and now a teaching of the Baal Shem Tov. But before that, I want to share with you a message that each one should share with someone else. And the message is in order to bring peace and prosperity to the world. And the message is to those who say that we stole the land of Israel. And what we say to them is that Hashem created the world, he owns it, and he can give it to who he wants, and he gave the land of Israel as a gift and an inheritance and a responsibility to the Jewish people. And with that, everybody could be happy and be able to go to their own inheritance and be prosperous and happy and live in a good way. So whoever hears this message, please tell it to those who think that the Jews stole the land of Israel. We didn't, it was given to us. And when that message gets out, we'll be able to achieve peace and prosperity in the world.
Bitzalo, wait, there's something to say about that. This land is your land, this land is my land, from the Golan Heights to the Jordan River, from the Negev Desert to the Sea of Galilee. This land was made. Everybody together. This land is your land. This land is my land. From the Golan Heights to the Jordan River, from the Negev Desert to the Sea of Galilee. This land was made for you and me.
But why? Because Hashem gave it.
Because Hashem.
Hashem.
Us.
Now, the Torah teaching from the Baal Shem Tov, it comes kind of in a way of a story, but it's a Torah teaching. The difference between the 2 days of Shavuos. There are 2 days of Shavuos.
3, 2, 3.
One,
Thank God.
In Eretz Yisrael.
So you need to take a shower or something.
the previous Rebbe related that the Baal Shem Tov attributed special significance,
One this morning.
voice. There's a playground outside.
No.
One Shavuos, the previous Rebbe related that the Baal Shem Tov attributed special significance and preciousness to the second day of Shavuos. On that day, the Baal Shem Tov was accustomed to making a light meal, a kiddush right after davening, and he would make a big meal that the whole community was invited to later in the afternoon. The whole congregation would join him at that dinner. And he followed that custom on the second day of the holiday his whole life. His student, the Maggid of Medrash, who succeeded him as Rebbe, explained the reason why the Baal Shem Tov held that second day of Shavuos in such esteem. It was the initial 24 hours after the Torah was given. Our Rebbe says the lesson is there are times when godliness is revealed in each of our lives, and other times things appear very dark. And try as one might to reveal the light of holiness, success eludes him. And he's understandably downcast. We tell him, however, as much as things change for you from yesterday until today, when you had a lot of light and now it's dark, it doesn't compare to the change that occurred between the first and second day of Shavuot. When Hashem descended on our Sinai of the first day, the blast of the shofar, the mountain on fire, and Hashem revealed himself to us with an intensity similar to what we're going to have when Mashiach comes. And a day later, we no longer had those great revelations. We're left to our own devices. And ever since, things depend on our own service, not revelation. Nevertheless, the focus of importance is manifest on the second day of Shavuos. Given the intrinsic superiority of our service in Hashem's eyes. What's the big deal if we serve him when there's a whole bunch of lights going off and the band is playing? But when we serve him and things are dark and godliness is not revealed, and we're forced to work with our own limited power, those efforts are extremely precious to Hashem and reach much higher into Hashem's essence than when we serve at a time of revelation from above. And again, what the Rebbe Marash told the Rebbe Rashab, the receiving of the Torah, the nullification to Hashem through changing to one nature is given only to the one who desires it intensely. We want Mashiach now.
Amazing.
Mashiach now.
You have a song to go
But
out?
first, I have one more appeal.
Oh,
This
that's
when-
very appealing. By your
Very
appeal,
appealing.
very appealing.
Oh, I just started right. It's appeal.
By the way, if
Mine-
you want to kibitz now, you could.
Okay.
Okay, now here you go. My dear brothers and sisters, this Wednesday is the holiday of Shavuos,
Shavuos.
when Hashem not only gave the Torah to the Jewish people, but He will again give the Torah to the Jewish people.
Again.
You can receive the Torah directly from Hashem.
Happily and eternally.
Yes,
Torah.
happily and eternally. And guess what? It will cost you nothing, nada, zippo, garnished. It don't got bupkis. It don't cost you anything. All you gotta do is take your body and bring it to a shul, to a synagogue. And let me tell you, all you gotta do, if you go on Chabad.org, 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 you will find there is a Chabad center located, and you can put in your zip code, if you live in Africa, your desert code, whatever you have over there, wherever you are in the world, go look
Camel
up
code.
look up the shliach near you. It has his contact information, and you can find out and go. Make sure you go, because you will hear there the Torah reading is the 10 Commandments, and it is not that they're reading something that happened once, but rather we are reading Hashem giving you the Torah personally to you.
Right.
So I ask of you, my dear brothers and sisters, I beseech of you, go receive the Torah directly from Hashem Himself, and you will be more happy, and Hashem will also be more happy, and we will bring Mashiach.
Mashiach now.
Aleinu karaso, the Pfeffer, the Kollel Eretz Hatzvi, ve'ein mamtanu, v'yikol v'kidashtanu, v'mitzvah, v'keidamtanu, malchinu la'avodah. Aleinu karaso. Mikol Amin, Ohavdoi Sono, Ve'yotzi Sobod, Ohavdoi Sono, Ve'yotzi Sobod, Ve'rei Mamtonu, Mikol Hashem, V'kidash Donu, V'mitzvah, Ve'rei Mamtonu, Mikol Hashem, V'kidash Donu, V'mitzvah, V'kei Altonu, Malkinu La'avidu Secho, V'kei Altonu, Malkinu La'avidu Secho, Shimcho Akodei, Lakodei V'yakodei, Aleinu, Aleinu Karaso, V'shimcho Akodei, Lakodei V'yakodei, Aleinu Karaso, Ya, 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 V'shimcho Akodei, Lakodei V'yakodei, Aleinu, Aleinu Karaso, V'shimcho Akodei, Lakodei V'yakodei, Aleinu, Aleinu Karaso, Ya, 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 Mikol ha'amim.
Gezintahait, 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 my friends. Remember, kids, Gezintahait.
That's right.
Hashem.
That's right.
That's right.